Well, look at you all picking sophisticated collegial topics for this lofty hero archetype essay. I've just graded all of your proposals. Everyone received a grade and an audio comment. I would have done video, but Canvas takes forever to load those in, so I did an audio comment. And I mentioned a few things to almost everyone. Everybody had something to work on. Everybody has a direction to go. And I know you'll be sharing those in your Cyber Cafe posts. And I know that you will be talking to folks in the open forum, if you like, about what you're doing and how you're proceeding forward. And I want to talk to you a little bit about one of the things I mentioned to everybody. And that is the idea of developing this second section of your hero archetype outline. Now, I know not all of you have made outlining your friend, but you will now. So let me show you exactly what I was talking about there in this brief tutorial. You will be developing your outline. Now, as we know, the introductory section is one paragraph, 1 to 2 sentences introducing the hero and the world of the story. Now, one of the things that you want to avoid is writing things like, this movie is the most excellent movie and it was made by Warner Brothers in 1959 and it grossed however much money. Nobody cares about that. This essay is about the hero of that story. So make sure that those first 2 sentences introduce the hero and the world of the story, and make sure your content relates to the point of your essay. Next, 1 to 2 sentences about the archetype that you have chosen. Now, you will not write the words, the hero that I chose for this essay, because this is a college level formal essay. We do not write things like, this is what I picked for my topic. Nobody wants to read that. You are going to get right into it with these sentences. Then your thesis statement goes next, and there are pages in the course that teach you exactly how to write that thesis statement. And that's a good place to put an image of the hero in motion. Do not include anything that is a logo. Do not include anything that has the name, title of the film, novel, screenplay, stage play, no matter what. The hero in motion. Next is 1 sentence that's a glimpse into the psychology of your hero from all this research you did about why the hero does what he does. Followed by a transition sentence, and that transition sentence leads to this section of the essay that I pointed out to you in your comments. Let's see what that next section is. That's right. This section of the essay is the definition section. Whether you are writing this essay, whether you are writing a narrative story, or whether you are writing a master's dissertation, this section will always be this section. And that is where you let the reader know anything that the reader needs to know to fully understand where you are taking the reader on your journey. Pretend that the reader has heard the title, but has no idea anything beyond that. So besides a small familiarity with the title that you are using, the reader knows nothing. So the first paragraph, 6 to 7 well-written sentences, explain the plot of the story. 20% of that will be quoted, and 80% of that will be in your own words. So it's that same formula that we used in the other essays that we've written, where you make a statement, and then you have a for example, that is the quoted part, and then you write what that example shows. Next, you transition to the next paragraph in this definition section. That paragraph will be 6 to 7 well-written sentences explaining the hero archetype that you've chosen. Same exact formula. 20% quoted, 80% in your own words. Now, the hero archetype is going to contain important information about what that archetype is, where that started, and you can have some fun explaining to the reader exactly what archetype you are describing. Then we're going to transition to some definition section, important information about the hero and the psychology of that hero and why the hero does what the hero does. Same formula, 20% quoted, 80% in your own words. And then we're going to transition to the next section. But this definition section includes one image. Maybe you can use more. You can use more images if you like, but don't make it confusing. And it contains 3 paragraphs. What is this story about? What kind of a hero archetype are we going to be talking about? And what's the deal with this hero? Now, when we transition to the first archetype, we see that it's laid out in the next part of the formula, which is archetype feature number 1. A tragic hero is of noble birth. Define that archetype, relate that archetype to the world of the story, and then relate that archetype to the hero. Now, this section will be multiple paragraphs. 1 or 2 paragraphs should be plenty, and it should contain 1 image. Next, we move on to archetype feature number 2, which will be 1 to 2 paragraphs with an image, and we're going to talk about that second feature. A tragic hero has a character flaw. Define that archetype, relate that to the world of the story, relate that to the hero. Do you see what this auto outline is doing here? It's messing all of my formula up. I'm going to fix that. Now that makes me feel better when it's all beautifully organized. Now, what I need to do in the process of writing that essay is fill in all of this information. What I'm creating here is a skeleton outline, or what I sometimes call a bone structure, and it's not detailed. For this essay, you're required to produce a detailed outline, and you want to do that. You don't want to just take off now that you've taken this time to organize it. So we had archetype feature number 1, archetype feature number 2, and now what do I need to add? Archetype feature number 3. 1, 2, 3. A tragic hero dies a very public, very humiliating death. And it messed up my format again. And now we have the structure. Feature number 1, 2, 3. And now we're ready for the last section of the essay. What is that section? That's right. That's the conclusion. Now, while I'm filling in this outline, I'm going to be conducting research, and I'm going to find those little pieces of research, and you can find that in that EasyBib tutorial number 1, where I show you exactly how to do this. Again, that's EasyBib tutorial number 1. And I'm going to take that information, and I'm going to find a place to put information when I find it. A description, a line that the character says, a piece of psychology research that I've done about that explains why the hero does what he does. And I'm going to take a little piece of that and I'll pop it in the conclusion. And I'll add it there. And that way when I come up to this part of the essay, the conclusion is already written. Here, in a clever way, I will restate the thesis. And then I'll have another little statement that I make, and then I have some final statement, a quote from the hero himself that shows the hero's quest or whatever. Now, I've missed one thing in this outline. Who can tell me what it is? Nothing in the introduction is missing. Nothing in the definition section is missing. What is missing in these 3 sections? That's right, the transition sentence. At the end of each paragraph is a sentence that, of each section, is a sentence that leads into the next section. I always make sure I add that to my outline so I don't forget it. And then this one will have a transition to what? That's right, feature number 3. The conclusion, instead of a transition sentence, has a final concluding sentence. And there you go. See how fun this is? Now you all are going to spend some time with your hero. You're going to come to love your hero. And you want to honor this assignment by really working on this and filling out that outline. It's a cinch if you do it with an outline. It will always be the perfect essay. Then it's just a matter of making sure your sentences are all well written, all well crafted, all quotes are documented, and that you have a works cited page that is perfectly formatted. You can do this. I'm so proud of your topics. My goodness, you're brilliant.